Let me go to Brother Sid, WABC's morning show, which is huge. Brother Sid, do you believe this court just ruled that all the tariffs are illegal?
Yeah, it's funny, Mark Levin, first of all, it's humbling every time I'm on. I think you're the greatest ever. I really do.
I love you, buddy.
Personally and professionally, I love you, too. I mean that sincerely. Yeah, do I believe it? Yeah. I think we're at the stage right now, Mark, I think you'd agree, and all your listeners, and millions of them, where the unpredictable becomes predictable. When you think something is not going to happen, bet that it is going to happen. So I wish I could tell you I was shocked, but I'm not.
When we go to vote, we celebrate, we win. It's hard enough to win with the barriers the Democrats put in place and all the rest of it. In there, Trump has a win. He not only has a win, he has a historic win. Comes back, wins despite all the efforts to imprison him and so forth, and wins every single battleground state, increases his vote in virtually every county in the country with virtually every group in the country. And what does he face? One unelected judge after another, trying to sabotage his agenda, which is clearly unconstitutional. They come up with these cockamamie arguments. Professor Turley's 100% right about that. And here we have this international court in your city, so I'm sure it's filled with geniuses, even if the Republicans, I'm sure it's filled with geniuses. And what do? They humiliate this country and the presidency with all these other countries that are going to say, we don't have to listen to Trump. We'll do whatever the hell we want. I mean, this has widespread consequences, doesn't it?
No, I think it does. You're right. And I'm not sure how to fix it. See, Mark, that's a big problem. Trump is able to fix a lot of issues. And I have these discussions with, you mentioned Jonathan Turley, but, we both have Alan Dershowitz on our shows quite a bit, Joseph Tacopina, Arthur Aidala, all these guys. And I don't really know how to fix it. And I think right now Trump is in a very precarious situation. You talk about how, it makes him look bad in our country. But I got to tell you, Mark, and you know how much I love Trump, and I know you love him as well. Looking bad these days is starting to become a little bit of a trend. I hate to say that because I love him. And I've said before, he's not only the best president of my lifetime, but maybe the history of the country. But, whether it's what's going on right now with Putin in Russia, whether it's what's going on right now with Iran, with Bibi Netanyahu, a lot of promises made, some kept, but a lot not so much. So while, yes, the judges and the courts are not helping Trump, certainly not when the world takes a look at the power, some of the decisions that have been going on in this country overseas, I'm not a huge fan of, Mark. I got to be honest.
It's going to be very interesting to see what this deal is, because I think it's obvious, Sid, that any military action's been taken off the table and was probably taken off the table a long time ago. The Israelis want to take out these sites because it's obviously a direct threat to their survival. And Donald Trump's not going to be president forever. Somebody else is going to be president. And so we're going to take a very close look at whatever comes of this. And I keep making the point, I think you agree. Congress has a role in this. The Senate has a direct role at taking a look at this. And there's a supermajority that have to approve this as a treaty. And every Republican said this when Obama was president of the United States. So this isn't an effort to sabotage. This is an effort to uphold the Constitution. Whether the courts violate the Constitution, when it comes to the treaty clause, we need to embrace it, don't we?
No, we do, but it's become a habit now, as you just mentioned, where prior presidents did not embrace it, right? And they did whatever they wanted to do. And yes,
but we got, at some point, Sid, we got to say that's enough, because we have children and grandchildren. At some point, when we're in power, when we control the Senate, we've got to say enough is enough. A treaty is a treaty. That's what the Constitution says. Whether it's Trump, whether it's Ernie Grabatsky, whether it's George Washington, whomever it is, at some point, we got to get back to that.
You're 100% right. No one can argue that. We have to get back to that. That's what the Constitution says. So we got a two-pronged problem here, Levin. We have, A, the issue with if there's going to be a treaty, it's got to go through the Senate. And then, B, what are we looking at? Because, look, I'm not in these meetings. I'm not talking to Trump and Witkoff every night. But everybody I talk to, some very learned people like you, they tell me the same thing. It looks too much like Obama 2.0. So forgetting about the first part, which you're right? You got a treaty here. It's got to go through the Senate. If, in fact, it does, what kind of resolution, what kind of treaty are we really looking at? And why at this point has Iran earned the right to sit at fancy tables with sodas and sandwiches and have this nice discourse? They have been terrorizing the world, not just Israel, terrorizing the world for decades. They are all of it behind October the 7th. My question is, Mark, what else do they have to do to earn a little pain? I told the president
You're right.
on my show, a little pain can't hurt them. Why aren't we at that stage?
My question to my friend Sid, the super big host, Morning Drive, New York here. So, Sid, is it possible we're going to have a situation where the Houthis are free to shoot missiles into Israel, which they're doing right now? Because we made a deal with the Houthis, leave our ships alone, and we cut Israel out. And Hamas, I keep hearing the White House is tired of what's going on. Like that is relevant to what Israel's fighting. And in Iran, is it conceivable that Israel might be in a worse place?
Not only is it conceivable, that's where the smart money is right now. I know it's hard to believe, Mark. I know it's hard to believe. I can't believe it myself. But that's the smart money. And what's got me aggravated, and I'm going to say this at the risk of maybe even upsetting our mutual friend Trump, is they're making Bibi look like a jerk. The bottom line is Bibi has been so castrated here. We know what Bibi wants to do. He wants to smack Iran right across the face, okay? Listen, Trump did a great job last month for about 30 days banging out the Houthis. But I got to tell you, I was in Israel a couple of weeks ago when that rocket landed at the airport. I got to the airport 4 hours later. You were there too, Mark. So they're not stopping. Hamas isn't stopping. We still have 58 hostages last I checked. It's been a couple of weeks since Edan Alexander went home. You know, Bibi's doing all he can in terms of bombing that area down in Gaza. But it doesn't seem like a lot is getting done. And it does seem like some of these decisions are, A, rendering all the power, taking it away from Bibi Netanyahu, making him look like a jerk, and not helping Israel. So I'm confused because I know how much Trump loves Israel. I know that. I know how much he loves the Jewish people. I know that. I saw Donald Trump operate between 2016 and 2020. There's never been a president like him. Not Truman, not Reagan, not anybody. But this one is a little confusing to me. But like I said on Twitter and Instagram today, Mark Levin, trust the man, trust the plan. I still think he's the best president. I still think in my lifetime, I still think he will do the right thing. But right now, if I told you I was confused, could you argue with me?
Well, here's my view. Netanyahu's been right at every turn. He was pulled back by Biden when it comes to Hamas. He was pulled back by Biden when it comes to Hezbollah. He was pulled back by Biden when he took off after the Iranians and destroyed their ground-to-air defense systems, laying them bare to attack. Why don't we listen to him from time to time rather than telling him what to do?
God, I would love that. And he's proven you're right time and time again. Every time he's been right. And he does take the back seat. He does. You know, he respected Biden. He didn't like Biden. In fact, he couldn't stand him. It was like Obama. But he respected him. He both respects and likes President Trump. And he's just not going to do that. He's going to comply with the United States because he needs them for as long as he can. Because it's going to come a day, Mark Levin, I promise you, where as much as Bibi likes and respects Donald Trump, he's going to say, sorry, buddy, we're doing this. You know, we're knocking out that nuclear facility tomorrow morning. You're either with us or you're not. But to Bibi's credit, he tries to respect the American president. I'd like to see them treat him the same way.
We have this element within our country, sort of a fusion, not just of the Marxists and Islamists I always talk about, but a fusion of the Marxist left and the isolationist sort of anti-Semitic right and the anti-Semitic left. Their foreign policy sort of overlaps, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's way too loud. I don't understand what's going on here. I'm completely confused because you just mentioned three different groups. And, you know, you did talk a little bit there about Islam. I'm going to tell you this. Your listeners may not realize this. You realize
Islamists.
Next year is the Islamists. Next year is the 250th birthday for the United States. We'll be 250 years old next year, okay? Also next year is the 25-year commemoration of 9/11. I had a guy on my show yesterday. He goes by the Misfit Patriot. And I said, I got to tell you, I'm not okay with public prayer in the streets in New York City. We got a mayor race going on right now. Forget about Andrew Cuomo. Forget about Eric Adams. The guy that is gaining, Mark Levin, the guy that is gaining by the day is a terrorist. His name is Mamdani. He's a BDS guy. He's a proud Islamist and a proud Muslim, and he's starting to do very, very well in New York City. We have all these major dates coming up next year, anniversaries and commemorations. We now have over 800 Muslims running for office in this country, and almost 300 have gained office. So when you see Sharia law in Dearborn, Michigan, when you see Sharia law in parts of Minnesota, and even Patterson, New Jersey, we've got a big problem in this country.
Yeah, we do. This plan that they talk about, but we're not allowed to talk about, of using immigration to conquer Europe, to conquer the United States. This is what the Islamists talk about. This is not what our media reports about, is working. And the money that Qatar is pouring into our country, and Iran and communist China too, but Qatar is number one, is working. Front groups like CARE and Students for Justice in Palestine. It's working, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And, of course, the president just left Qatar and had a very seemingly nice time and did a very nice deal. I mean, you hope that he says, listen, I'll do this deal, whether it's Qatar or it's Saudi Arabia or it's Syria. And on the way out, he says, but by the way, lay off Israel. You hope he said that. I hope he said that. But I've got no guarantees that he did. So it is working. And you're right. This is their master plan. I got to tell you, Mark, I got to be honest. I'm sick of hearing about Harvard. I got it. A bunch of snot-nosed kids and some paid agitators who rule these campuses. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to minimize that. That is a big issue. It's a big issue. But is it as big as Hamas in Gaza? Is it as big as Iran continuing to operate? It's really not. So the Harvard thing, fantastic. Take all their money, shut down all these institutions, but we're taking our eye off the real center of the action, which you just talked about, these Middle East countries, the Muslim plan in the United States. This is all very, very scary stuff, and it's real, folks. It's real. So we talk all day about Harvard. That's great. Trust me when I tell you, that's the least of our problems.
All right, Sid. Well, if people around the country want to hear you, they can get online on WABC and listen to you there as well. And I recommend that they do it. You're a great friend and you're a great radio host, but you're substantive. That's what makes a host great. You're substantive. All right, brother, you take care of yourself.
Thank you for all those kind words. And I know your listeners already know this. I'm not just saying it to patronize you. You are the greatest of all time. Whether it's this radio show, Fox News, Saturday and Sunday, you are the great one because you are the great one. I love you. Thank you so much. I'm honored every time you bring me on. Let's go Knicks.
Let's go Knicks. All right, let's go Eagles. You can have the Knicks. All right, brother. God bless you. Take care.
Take